I'm 71 years old, and I wasted 45 years of my life married to a man I never loved. Everyone told me he was the smart choice. Good job, nice family, stable, but I didn't know it would cost me everything. By the end of this, you'll understand the one mistake that quietly destroys most marriages. And maybe, just maybe, you won't make it like I did. Let me take you back to 1979. I was 26, living in a small apartment with two roommates, working as a secretary at an insurance company. And I was madly, desperately in love with a man named Daniel. Daniel was a musician. He played guitar at this little bar downtown every Friday night. He had these dark eyes that looked right through you. When he sang, I forgot how to breathe. We'd been together for 2 years. He wanted to move to Nashville, chase his dream. He asked me to come with him, and I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But here's where everything changed. My mother sat me down at her kitchen table. I can still smell the coffee, burnt, like she always made it. She said, "Margaret, listen to me. Daniel is a dreamer. Dreamers don't pay bills. Dreamers don't raise children. Dreamers leave you alone at 40 with nothing but regret." I told her I loved him. She laughed, not a mean laugh, a tired one. "Love," she said, "love is a luxury. Security is a necessity. You think I married your father because of butterflies. I married him because he showed up every single day. That's what matters." I argued with her. I cried. I told her she didn't understand. But here's the thing about mothers: they plant seeds, and those seeds grow whether you want them to or not. 3 months later, I met Richard. Richard was everything Daniel wasn't. He wore pressed shirts. He had a savings account. He brought me flowers on our second date, not wild flowers he picked from the roadside like Daniel. Real flowers from a shop, wrapped in plastic. My mother loved him. My friends loved him. Everyone said, "Margaret, he's perfect. Don't let this one get away." So what did I do? I let Daniel get away instead. I still remember the last time I saw him, standing at the bus station in that brown jacket he always wore. He asked me one more time, "Come with me, Maggie, please." I said, "I can't. I'm sorry. I can't." He nodded, didn't argue, didn't beg. He just said, "I hope he makes you happy." And then he was gone. I married Richard 8 months later. Now I need you to understand something important. Richard wasn't a bad man. He never hit me, never cheated, never raised his voice. He provided everything he promised. But do you know what it feels like to lie next to someone for 45 years and feel completely alone? To have someone hold your hand but never touch your soul? Richard loved me in his way, but he loved me like you love a reliable car, something that runs, something that's there when you need it, something you don't think about until it breaks down. And I performed love every single day. I cooked his dinners, ironed his shirts, smiled when his family visited, laughed at jokes that weren't funny, pretended that this was enough, because I had made the safe choice, hadn't I? This is what smart women do, isn't it? But here's what nobody tells you about the safe choice. Safety doesn't keep you warm at 3 in the morning when you're lying awake wondering what your life could have been. I used to dream about Daniel, not romantic dreams, just ordinary ones. We'd be grocery shopping or washing dishes together, or sitting on a porch somewhere in Nashville listening to him play while the sun went down. Then I'd wake up and Richard would be snoring beside me, and I'd feel this weight on my chest, like someone had put a stone there while I slept. You want to know the worst part? I never told anyone, not my mother, not my sister, not my best friend, because admitting I made a mistake would mean admitting that I wasted my life. And who wants to say that out loud? So I kept performing, year after year, decade after decade. We raised 2 children, good children. I love them more than anything. But even they could feel something was missing. My daughter asked me once, when she was 16, she said, "Mom, do you love Dad?" And I said, "Of course I do, sweetheart." She looked at me for a long time, then she said, "Okay," but she didn't believe me. I could tell. Children always know. Let me tell you about the moment everything finally cracked open. It was 5 years ago. I was 66. Richard had a heart attack. Minor one, but enough to scare us both. I sat in that hospital waiting room for 6 hours. And you know what I felt? I felt relieved. Not that he might die. God, no. I'm not a monster. I felt relieved that finally, something was happening. Because feeling scared is still feeling something. And I hadn't felt anything real in decades. That's when I knew I had to be honest with myself. I went home that night after they said Richard would be fine. I sat in my car in the driveway for an hour, just sat there in the dark, and I let myself ask the question I'd been running from for 45 years. What if I had gotten on that bus? What if I had chosen love over safety? What if I had trusted myself instead of everyone else? I don't know where Daniel ended up. I looked him up once, about 10 years ago. Found out he passed away in 2008. Heart failure. He was 61. He never made it big in Nashville. Never got famous. But you know what I found? I found a photo someone posted online from some small music festival in Tennessee. Must have been from the 90s. He was on stage, gray in his hair by then, wrinkles around those dark eyes. But he was smiling, really smiling, the kind of smile that comes from somewhere deep inside. He looked happy, and I realized that's all he ever wanted. Not fame, not money, just to do what he loved with someone who loved him back. I could have been there. I should have been there. Richard passed away 2 years ago, quietly, in his sleep, the way he lived. I took care of him until the end. Of course I did. That's what wives do. At his funeral, everyone said what a wonderful marriage we had. 43 years together, so stable, so committed. And I smiled and nodded, like I always had. But inside I was screaming, because the worst kind of prison is one where you put yourself inside and then throw away your own key. Let me tell you what I've learned, and I want you to really hear this. The safe choice is the most dangerous choice you can make because it doesn't feel dangerous. It feels responsible, mature. Everyone around you will applaud it. Your parents, your friends, society. But you are the only one who has to live inside that choice. You are the only one who lies awake at 3 in the morning. You are the only one who knows the difference between going through the motions and actually being alive. I'm not telling you to be reckless. I'm not telling you to follow every feeling off a cliff. But I am telling you this. If there's someone who makes you feel something real, something that scares you a little, something your logical brain can't quite explain, don't let them go because everyone else thinks you should. Don't trade passion for security. Don't live someone else's version of a good life. Because 45 years go by faster than you think. And regret doesn't fade with time. It just gets clearer. I'm 71 now, alone in the house where I performed love for 4 decades. But you still have time. You still get to choose. Don't wait until you're sitting in a hospital waiting room feeling nothing to finally ask yourself what you really want. Ask yourself now, and then be brave enough to answer honestly. That's all I wish someone had told me. Now you know what I didn't. Don't waste it.